Okay, this is a great question. Shout out to Ruben. Appreciate you, Ruben. He said, how can these non-religious spiritual practices have such a profound impact? Is it possible that spirituality isn't solely tied to religion, but is a broader human experience? Yes. The answer to your question is yes. The issue, two issues. Issue number one, non-religious. I actually don't think non-religious exists. I don't think that such a thing is humans are even capable of having a non-religious paradigm. Everyone worships something. Everyone is religious to something. You know those folks that do CrossFit? Yeah, they're some of the most religious people. They can be so annoying because CrossFit's actually very dangerous for you when you don't know the proper form and they're just making you throw up weight. You know those vegans? Yeah, they're religious, fam. You know those environmentalists? They're religious. You know those atheists that are hell-bent on trying to destroy Christianity in the West? Yeah, they were religious. They had dogmas, they had anathemas, they had specific things that they taught and they propagated. So I think the foundational principle first is I would just like to push back on the idea that is that a human can be non-religious. I just don't think that's real. How many of you guys know ever heard the phrase ball is life? Ball is life. That's a religious term. Right? Basketball is life. That's religious. Think about that for a second. So I reject wholeheartedly the idea that someone can be non-religious. I think the question is, what is your allegiance to? It could be to basketball. It could be to CrossFit. It could be to yourself. It could be to vanity. It could be to money. It could be to fill in a blank. The shout out to Drew Ruiz in the chat. He pointed out, rightfully so, Ecclesiastes talks about how there's eternity set in the human heart. Right? Eternity is set. Eternity is written on our heart. So there's a desire within humans for this. So one, the presupposition that humans can be non-religious or there's a non-religious practice, I just think is nonsense.
Nonsense.
I think that's a false presupposition. Two, yes, spirituality is tied to the human experience, which is why you have to be careful in what spirituality you dabble in. Because because we are religious creatures and we do understand, I think on an intrinsic level, Destiny maybe would say this is intuition pumping, that there's a morality that's a subjective, and there's a realm beyond this realm that's real.
Okay.
Those two things. We know that there's order, we know that there's a reality beyond this realm, and those two things are intrinsically connected to the human experience. Like I don't know if anyone comes to the conclusion that there is no God on their own. Like, I don't know if anyone ends up on an island and goes, there's no God.
Yeah.
I think that's external conditioning from hostility towards religion.
Yeah. Because even like indigenous tribes that are just living on our island have some sort of higher power.
Have some sort of deity that they worship.
Wow, that's crazy. Good point.
So then the question is, if we can acknowledge that there is spirituality that's intrinsically tied to the human experience, I think that's evidence for God, actually. The fact that everyone is seeking something and that people are bizarrely really into ritual and really into order and really into some sort of structure. And then you have to do the thinking of what makes the most sense. Is there a God? Is there not a God? Okay, one, what makes the most sense of reality? What makes the most sense of morality? What makes the most sense in terms of what's changed the trajectory of existence as we know it? I think the evidence and the case for Jesus becomes more and more sufficient. It becomes more and more, not just possible, but probable. See, I'm not one of those that is like, it's possible. No. I think it's probable. Like, I think it happened, right? Now, I think to experience it happening and have certainty requires us to walk through the door to develop that certainty. I don't think it's the other way around. People think you need certainty and then you walk through the door. No, I think you need to walk through the door and then you have certainty. But I think there's enough there to have the faith of a mustard seed to walk through that and then discover that Jesus is who he says he is. So having said all that, if the Christian worldview is true, and there's clearly another realm beyond this realm that's a spiritual realm, and people are religious in their natural state, then the question of what you worship and what religion you follow is of the utmost importance. So people dabbling in spirituality without the Creator, in my opinion, is you're playing with fire.
Hello.
You are playing with fire to seek out the universe, to seek out fill in a blank, to seek out some sort of higher self, third eye. You're in my opinion, you're playing with fire. I think, and the scriptures forbid it, for the record. Like, anything outside of Jesus and God of the Bible being the source is forbidden.
Yeah.
And so you're playing with fire, you're dabbling with fire, and you're going through doors that were never meant to be opened. And I think this is why so many people lose their mind. I think this is why so many people end up in worse places than they started. You know?
Yeah.
With this like occultic dabbling and trying to think things are neutral. Nothing is neutral.
Yes.
Nothing is neutral.
Yeah. I think the scary part, which people should acknowledge, is the if I'm wrong statement, right? So the if I'm wrong that there isn't a God and it's all just woohoo university, if I'm wrong about that, not me personally, but if I'm a a little woohoo person, if I'm wrong about that, that means I'm talking to demons based off of literally every other religion, right? Right. Every other religion is going to take the standpoint that pagan rituals are going to be demonic. Then on top of that, if God exists and demons exist, they don't just exist for the religious people. They don't just exist for people that know that they exist. They exist for everybody.
Right.
So that means that there is God influence or demonic influence fighting for your life all the time, even if you don't know it. So when you're like, I'm gonna go dabble, we're just gonna play the Ouija board. It's just a game. It's just a little spooky dooky Discovery Channel game. Nah, dog. Like, if you're wrong, you're talking to demons. Like, that's not worth it. Let's play Monopoly.
Let's play Monopoly.
That's way better.
It's way safer. It's way safer. It's way safer. Yeah. So for folks dabbling, I would just tread lightly, man. I would just say, and I would also say, like, Jesus is enough.
Come on.
Jesus is enough. You don't got to find no weird other occultic practices.
Yeah, just pray to Jesus, have him answer your prayers as you're like spooky.
You don't got to call on the spirit of the ancestors. Like,
I prayed to Jesus and I got to answer prayer, and that was like crazy supernatural. That's going to be a way more positive experience for you than calling on the ancestors.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I am ecstatic to announce to you my very first official book with a major publisher, Godly Ambition, coming out September 9th. This is the first thing we did where a major publisher, Penguin Random House, the biggest publisher in the world, partnered with us on his book. We had an amazing editor, and it's coming out September 9th. And the pre-order is available right now. It's on Amazon, everywhere bookstores are sold. And this is what we need you guys to do. You need you guys to go pre-order it, and you can claim this offer. If you claim this offer, you will get a 25% discount code to the Blessed God Shop. You will get a sneak peek chapter for early reading. It's actually 2 chapters. It's the intro chapter and it's the first chapter.
Come on.
So there's 2 chapters of the book you'll get right away. You'll be entered for a chance to be one of 10 winners to receive a limited edition advanced reader copy of the book.
Come on.
Okay? So you go to Amazon, punch in Ruslan KD, punch in, or you could just go to My Godly Ambition, godlyambition.co, scroll down, and any of these stores work.
That's fire.
Go to Amazon, Godly Ambition, $23.98 right now, okay, which is actually, I think, the cheapest anywhere I've seen it. Get a screenshot of it, go back to the website, hit claim this offer, okay? Again, you receive a 25% discount code, and you get the intro chapter and the second chapter. All you got to do is just put your information and put a screenshot of your receipt, and you get it right away in the mail. The book comes out September 9th. Here's the idea. Ambition is not the enemy. It's the answer. There's so much demonization of ambition. There's so much demonization of people who are looking to improve their situation. This is actually in response to some of the prosperity gospel nonsense out there. You have a binary in the zeitgeist right now. One perspective is that if you're talking about anything, success, ambition, not being a loser, that you're Joel Osteen and you're the prosperity gospel guy. The other is you have to take a vow of poverty and go down and live like a monk. Those are the 2 extremes that are presented. No one is talking about anything related to ambition, to drive, to focus, to diligence, to stewardship, to being industrious, to leaning into the aspects of the fruit of the Spirit.
It's like, okay, what does it actually look like? If we're not going to be influenced by paganism, but we're going to be excited about stewarding your ambition properly, this is what this book is about. It's about creating a roadmap and a path that's not just taking what the secular world is doing and then adding your own morality into it based off the Bible. This is like, what does the Bible teach us? Do that.
And so I would encourage you guys, reevaluate this and go pre-order the book and read the first 2 chapters. And if you don't like the first 2 chapters, well, hey,
Send it back.
Send it back, I guess. But I think you guys will like it. And I think you guys will be shocked on how much it is actually immersed in Scripture.